and Happy New Year. My name is Mira Bihari and I am the owner of Adolescent Medicine Consulting. For those of you who have been following along, it's a new year, but we're going to stick with the same topic of stress management. Today, we're going to go into the stress management plan and how you can use that to help the patients in your practice. I hope that this will be a relatively stress-free year for you and your patients, but the reality is that stress is part of life. So we've just got to have a plan on how we can manage it, and that will help us sail through 2024 as smoothly as possible. Hope you enjoy the video and wish you all the best for 2024.
Hello, and thank you for joining in as we continue our discussion on stress and stress management for teens and young adults. In this video, we are going to talk about the stress management tool more than anything, the stress management plan from the Fostering Resilience website. If you don't remember the Fostering Resilience website, click back to the previous video where we introduce this website and talk a little bit about the author as well as how to bring up stress as a potential cause of some health problems that patients might be coming in with. Today, we are going to focus on the Dealing with Stress tab. That's what's currently up on the screen. And I sometimes bring this up with the Intro to Stress discussion, especially if the young person is engaging in some of these ways that people deal with stress. So as you can see, it goes through some of the undesired ways that people deal with stress: drugs, alcohol, sex, cutting, self-harm, running away. If a teen is already engaging in these behaviors, I sometimes bring this up as maybe this is kind of how you're dealing with a situation and we've got to find another way of dealing with it. One of the things we often say in adolescent medicine is that what we as society see as a problem for a teen, they see as a solution. For example, using drugs and alcohol might be their way of coping with the stress of being bullied or being anxious and not knowing how to handle that. So when we get to whatever the underlying issue is, we can sometimes help that young person get away from some of those less desired behaviors and hopefully learn some healthier and safer coping strategies. So this is a short little page that talks about how we can deal with stress and what some of the harmful choices are. Then there's a nice little segue into the stress management plan. And I like to bring this up for teens. I've often printed it out, I'm sure much to the dismay of clinic administrators because it is kind of a longer document, but it's really a great tool for working with a young person and helping them figure out how they can manage stress themselves. If you choose to do the stress management plan with a young person, I would set it up as little chunks that you would do from week to week or maybe every other week as you work with them to really get to a healthier way of managing their problems. So as you can see in the personal stress management plan, one of the things that we have from Dr. Ginsburg is this division into 4 parts: tackling the problem, taking care of my body, dealing with emotions, and making the world better. So starting off with tackling the problem is first identifying and addressing the problem. So a lot of people just go by ignoring their problems and then things kind of get worse and snowball. So we really want to break whatever the problem is into small pieces. So let's say it's a big paper that's due. Well, chunking it up and really looking at, okay, this week we're going to do just some background research, and next week we're going to work on organizing our references or making an outline, and really chunking up those tasks, those stressors, into smaller pieces. Making lists of what young people need to do. This is really important, I think, because for a lot of young people, especially in our digital age, we have to make structures to help them develop their prefrontal cortex. As you may know, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that does the executive functioning, making decisions, and deciding, do we give into our emotions? Do we make a rational, logical choice? That part is still developing for our teens and young adults. So we really need to guide them in how to structure their work, their time, all of these things. It's a lot of what I end up talking about with a lot of patients. So really helping the young person figure out how they can break up their work into smaller pieces, make lists of what they need to do, and maybe make some timelines to help them with bigger projects. Another key thing is avoiding stress when possible. Some things are avoidable, and we don't need to maybe overschedule ourselves and do all of the things that we did when we were like 10 and didn't have as much homework as we now do when we're in AP English, AP Calc, and AP World History and all that. So really helping a young person know that, some things are no longer necessary, and sometimes we have to go into point 3 and let some things go because there's only so much time in the day. Then we get into taking care of the body. So really highlighting some of the ways that we can help the young person learn to take ownership and take care of their body in ways that they might not have been taught before. As, physical education becomes optional for young adults when they progress through their education, it might really be something that you have to point out to them that, when we do some exercise that kind of helps release some of the negative energy and helps your body feel like it ran away from the tiger of your final exam paper that triggered your fight or flight stress response, so you can feel calmer and better able to tackle that project. We also bring up active relaxation, really helping the young person learn some mindfulness techniques and some different ways of calming down. This is something that's pretty easy to do in the office. I'm sure you have some stress reduction techniques that you use for yourself, and you can take a few minutes to teach a young person some deep breathing, teach them the calm down countdown, as I like to call it, some of these other things that we're going to get to in some of our other videos. But just bringing that up as one of the many things that the young person can do to help manage their stress. Eating well. This is super important. A lot of people think, especially when they're really, really stressed, that there's not enough time to eat, that if they stop to eat, it's going to actually slow them down and make things worse. But really taking like 15 minutes to have something nutritious, fuel your body, change your mindset, and make sure that you're eating things that give you energy rather than deprive you of energy is one of the things that we really want our young people to learn. Point 7, sleeping well, making sure that the young person has a good bedtime routine, has a way of sort of tucking themselves in every night, and makes an environment for themselves that's conducive to sleep. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir when I talk about the fact that, a lot of our young people, 1, aren't getting the 8 to 10 hours of recommended sleep, and 2, are not getting quality sleep when they sleep because there's all these devices and other things triggering their brain. Then we get into part 3, actually dealing with our emotions. So some of the tools that Dr. Ginsburg and team bring up are taking instant vacations. So doing little things to just have a mental reset as you're going through your day. Some visualization, some mini meditation, little hobbies, all of these things are just ways to escape for a little bit from the stressors of the day. Releasing emotional tension in other ways. So doing something creative, talking to a friend or a parent, journaling, just writing it out, getting it out of your mind or body through prayer, laughter, crying, whatever it might be, because that energy needs to come out in one way or another. And we want to make sure that we do it in a healthy and safe way as much as possible. Another way that young people can help with managing stress is contributing to society by helping others. It kind of puts your problems into perspective and also helps you realize that, we can make a change and we can make things better. So these are some of the tips that are included in the stress management plan to help young people learn how to navigate our stressful world. Dr. Ginsburg also has a link on this webpage. I'm going to include this webpage as well as the Outlink site on an interactive stress management plan that's available at a spinoff and another project he's working on with the Center for Parent and Teen Communication. We'll talk about that at future visits as well, but you can either download the old printout version of it, and for folks who like to write with their hands, I think that's a great way of getting that started and doing that visit to visit with a patient over the course of a few weeks. Or you can share with them the stress management plan at the Center for Parent and Teen Communication. But really making sure that we teach young people that stress is a part of life and we all have to learn different ways of coping with it. And we want to make sure that we're giving the young people a variety of tools and hopefully more safe and healthy tools for dealing with their stress than some unhealthy and unsafe tools. Hope this was helpful for you and hope that you'll tune in for more information on how you can help the teens and young adults in your practice. Thank you for your time. If you'd like more information, by all means, give us a call at adolescentmedicineconsulting.com. You can reach us through our website, shoot us an email, or give us a call at 254-718-7559. Would love to hear from you and also know what topics you might want to hear about in the future. For the next couple of videos, we are going to continue on the very important discussion of stress management for young people. But I definitely want to hear from you about other topics that you might be interested in learning about. Thank you for your time and all that you do for young people. Take care.